Okay, this will be the pre-calculus Unit 8 law of sines, law of cosines sample test. I've done some of this already to sort of speed along the process. This first one, they give you all three sides, so you would use the law of cosines. Okay, I put all my sides in, I've got my angles. So the first thing I'd want to find is x. So what I would want to do in the formula, okay, what I would want to do in the formula is whatever you're trying to find goes there in the formula, okay? On the back end of this, okay, here are your formulas, okay? And what you have to know is you have to know how these are used generically. For so law of sines, it's pretty easy. Law of cosines, whatever letter you're trying to find, that letter, that angle there. All right, for law of cosines, that letter there, okay? Area, okay, that you use that more for a law of cosine situation, okay, where you have two sides, an angle and none of the letters match, and that's another area for the formula. So you can pause that and write that down if you need to. Okay, all right. So what I would do under these situations, okay, I'm trying to find x. Okay, so x would be here and here, so 18 squared plus 31 squared minus 24 squared. That would be 2 times 18 times 31, okay? So when I would go to calculate that, flip this over to degrees, okay? I would be parentheses 18 squared plus 31 squared minus 24 squared, all right, divided by 2 times 18 times 31. Okay, and then I do inverse cosine of that. Okay, gets me 50.5 degrees. Or 50.6 degrees. Okay? Then I do the same thing for y. So now the y amount will go there. Okay? Alright? So 24 squared plus 31 squared, 31 squared minus 18 squared divided by 2 times 24 times 31. Okay, do the inverse cosine. Okay, I get 35.4. Okay, all right. So then very simply I just take those two amounts and subtract away from 180 to find the remaining. Okay, which would be 94 degrees, okay? In this scenario, you would use law of sines because I am given two angles and a side, okay? So you can use law of sines for this one. The easiest thing to do first is to find the missing angle. So I would subtract that away from 180, that gives me 63, okay? So then I'm going to use what I got, sine of 63 over 56, to set that equal to sine of 75 over f. Okay, I would do the same thing for this other side. Sine of 63 over 56 is equal to sine of 42 over h. And so basically, because of fraction rules, this will move up, this will move down, this will move up. Okay, so the way that gets typed into the calculator is 56, okay, sine of 75, I believe, yep, sine of 75 divided by sine of 63. Okay, so I get 60.7. Okay, then same thing over there, 56 sine of 42 divided by the sine of 63. 42.1. Okay, all right, moving on to these next ones. Okay, all right, this next one would be considered a law of cosines problem, and here's why. I've got an angle and two sides and no letters match, so I can use the law of cosine. So the first thing I want to find is this letter b squared. Okay, so that means the angle b goes over there, the other two sides go there. Okay, so that's what it would look like with the formula set up. Okay, so 64 squared plus 82 squared minus 2 times 64 times 82 times the cosine of 50. Okay, and then I take that number and I square root it. Okay, and that gets me about 63.8. Okay, now I want to find an angle, so if I want to find C, then the C amount goes there. That's the way that formula works. Okay, so I would type in the top part, 63.8 squared plus 82 squared minus 64 squared divided by 2 times 63.8 times 82. All right, inverse cosine 0.6401. Okay, so 50.2 degrees for this. Then it becomes very easy to find the third angle because I just subtract those two angles away from 180. You get 79.8. Okay? Moving on to this one. In this scenario, okay, we take out the C because we didn't find that yet. In this scenario, I am going to use, okay, the law of sines special case. Reason being, I have an angle, two sides, and there's a match. So I have to get ready for the concept that I have a whole nother triangle that I'm going to have to check. Okay, so this is what they gave me on this. Okay, this is what they gave me on this. So I'm going to have to check to see if there's a possibility of the other. So what I'm going to do is start out by finding the sine of b, okay, over 36. The only thing I can set that equal to is this. Sine of 105 over 49, okay? The way I would solve that is I would cross that up, and then I'm going to do inverse of whatever that amount is, okay? All right, so I do inverse sine, okay? All right, so I would do 36 sine of 105 divided by 49. Okay, inverse sine of that. Okay, I end up getting 45.2 degrees. Okay, now, to get this other angle right here, so I'm going to see what the other possibility is. What that's going to be is 180 minus this 45.2. Okay, all right, so I do 180 minus 45.2, and I get 134. Now the problem is, if you see, that's already over 180, so there will be no second triangle. Here there can be, because I do 105, 180 minus 105 minus 45.2. Okay, so that's 29.8. Okay, and then I'm just going to take what they gave me, the sine of 105 over 49, setting that equal to the sine of 29.8 all over c. So very simply, the c comes up, this goes up, that goes down. Okay, we worked that in class. Okay, so 49 sine 29.8 divided by the sine of 105, I get 25.2. Okay, for the answer. Okay, so 25.2 on that one. All right, let me take this out real quick. I'll erase this stuff. Okay. This next one will also be a law of sines problem. Law of sines special case, where I am given, I'm not given the angle F yet, or the side F, or this angle D. So this is what I was given to start, okay? All right? So, because I'm given two sides with an angle that matches, I can automatically set the sine of 35 over 32 equaling the sine of D over 40. So this is going to come up, and then I'm going to do inverse sine here, okay? So the possibility exists, okay, for two triangles. So I'm going to go ahead and put what I'm given, okay? All right? So I got 40 sine of 35 divided by 32, okay? I'm going to do inverse sine of this amount. Okay, and I get 45.8, okay? So for angle D, I get 45.8. Now, to find this other angle D, I would do 180 minus 45.8. I get 134.2. Okay? Now, this is where we will have another triangle, okay? So what I want to do is I can find angle F for both of them. First one would be subtracting these two away gives me 99.2. Okay? And then 180 minus 134.2 minus 35. That would give me 10.8. Okay? And now what I want to do is I want to find both f's. So I'm going to use what they gave me, which was sine of 35, okay, over 32, equaling the sine of 99.2 over f, sine of 35 over 32, the other f angle, sine of 10.8 over f, okay? And the way they solved it is the exact same way. This comes up, that goes down, that comes up. This comes up, that comes down, that goes up, okay? So let's find both f amounts, okay? So 32 sine of 99.2 divided by the sine of 35. Okay, first f is like 55.1. Okay, then I would do 32 sine 10.8 divided by the sine of 35. About 10.5 as well for the f there. Okay, all right. Now this is x, y, and z. Angle x, angle y, angle z, side x, side y, side z. Okay, make sure the still working here. Fantastic. Okay, so I am given, don't worry about this inches thing, 80, 47, 52. Now, this is also a law of sine special case because I've got two sides with a match here. Okay, all right. So what I would do is I would go sine of y over 80 equals sine of 52 over 47. The way I would solve that is I would move that up, okay? All right, so I got 80 sine of 52 divided by 47. Now, this should be a red flag because we can't have a sine function greater than 1. Okay, so that's not possible. So there will be no solution here. I know I sort of skipped through just to get through a little part of this, but you would check for both triangles, but when the first one doesn't work, that's the way you know it's done, okay? All right. Now, the big thing you want to do here on this one, okay, is you want to label, all right, your letters, okay? So this would be R, this would be P, this would be Q. That's going to help you. So what they gave you in this original problem, okay, is they gave you this. They gave you angle Q, 81, angle P, I'm sorry, side P of 13, okay, side P of 13, side R of 7, okay. Now, if you look at some of your questions, okay, all right, this first question asks, what is the area? Well, just by given that, I know what I can use that area formula because it's like the law of cosines part. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to type in 1/2 times 13 times 7 times the sine of 81. Okay, that gives me 44.93. Now, they also ask, what is the length of side Q? So I just have to find that. I don't even have to worry about these other angles. So I would use the Q formula here, okay, Q squared. Okay, so 13 squared plus 17 squared minus 2 times 13 times 7 cosine of 81. So 13 squared plus 7 squared minus 2 times 13 times 7 times the cosine of 81. Now, I want to take the square root of this number, the 189.5289. And I get 13.76 or 13.8 if you round. Okay, so that's how I get that. So you still want to draw out. Okay, you still want to draw out all of your sides here. Okay, all right. Let me do this one with you together. Okay, let me just take this off real quick. All right. So this talks about drawing a map. Okay. So it's Manassas, Bristow, Haymarket. So let's say this is Manassas, this is Bristow, this is Haymarket. I'm going to make a triangle. Okay, so this would be the distance from Manassas to Bristow is 11. Bristow to Haymarket is 8. This is 17. Okay, all right. Now the area formula, since they gave you all three sides, I can use that 1/2. A plus B formula. So at my S, I would do 11 plus 8 plus 17, okay? All right, so I'd want to figure that out first. 11 plus 18 plus 17. Okay, so that's, the S is 23. And so then when I go into the calculator, it's 23, all right, 23, 25, 36, yeah, wait, that's 19. Did I type that right? Oh, whoops, I typed that wrong, sorry. That's 11 plus 8 times 17, no, plus 17 times a half. Okay, that's 18, sorry, 18. Okay, so 18, okay, 18 minus 11, 18 minus 8, 18 minus 17. This will help get you the area. Okay, so I do big square root, parentheses underneath it, 18, 18 minus 11, 18 minus 8, 18 minus 17. Double parentheses to close, so 35.49. Okay, so they want to know what's the angle between Manassas and Haymarket. Okay, so what you might want to do is put, all right, these amounts. All right, the angle between Manassas and Haymarket. Okay, we're really looking at what is this angle here. Okay, all right, so we're looking for that angle going that way. All right. All right. Okay, so what we would do is, let me draw this a little bit. It makes a little bit more sense. All right, so probably the better way to ask the question, okay, find the angle between Manassas and Haymarket. So what we're trying to do is basically find, like, we're trying to find this angle, okay? All right. All right, so basically, what angle do you need to take to go, okay? All right, so what we would have here on this, all right, is we want to find angle H, okay? So cosine of angle H, okay, is equal to whatever the sine of M is, so 8 squared plus 17 squared minus 11 squared, all over 2 times 8 times 17. Got it? All right. So I would do parentheses, 8 squared plus 17 squared minus 11 squared divided by 2 times 8 times 17. Okay. So inverse cosine of 0.8529. Okay, so that's 31.47 degrees. Okay. All right, moving on to the last question. Okay, all right. The big thing is you want to do is you want to label these X, Y, and Z. Okay, so what they gave you to start is they gave you angle Z, they gave you angle Y, they didn't give you that. Okay, they gave you side Y, they didn't give you this. Okay, so the idea would be this would just be a regular law of sines problem. Okay, because I got 2 angles and 1 side. So what I would want to do is 180 minus 71 minus 39. So that would be 70 degrees. Okay. All right. That's going to be 70 degrees. All right. And what we want to do here with this, is that right? Yes, that is correct. Okay. So what we want to do is how far is island 1 away from 2? Well, I think the easiest thing would be take what they gave you, okay? All right, take what they gave you. Let's erase this part right here. Okay, take what they gave you, which was sine of 71 over 124. Set that equal to sine of 70 over x. Okay, this comes up, that goes down, that comes up. So I got 124 sine of 70 divided by the sine of 71. Okay, so this x amount would be 123.2. Okay, then I would do the same thing for z. Sine of 71 over 124 equals sine of 39 over z. Okay, that comes up, that comes down, that comes up. okay? So I got 124 sine of 39 divided by the sine of 71. Which gives me 82.53. Okay? Alright, so I just got to fix this first answer. So what I would look at is how far, what these are. Island 2 to island 3 would be side x, which would be 123.2. Island 1 to island 2 would be y, which would be 82. Yeah, it would be, this one would be 82.3, which would be z, okay? 82.53, okay? So if you understand how the formulas work, you just have to practice this, a lot of calculator skills in this unit.